Welcome back to Carpool Conversations. I'm Amy Lowe.
And I am Sara Jones, and we are so excited for you to hear from Brittany Compton today, because this topic of play with purpose is a really powerful reminder. Obviously, kids are all about playing. We don't really have to teach them. They naturally have the ability to play. So you can send them into the backyard, build a fort, make their own world, creative, adventure, skin knee, mud pies, get dirty. They know how to do this.
And Sara, take that screen away and they have imagination that goes everywhere. And we're talking about play, yes, but we're also talking about the purpose behind it. And for me, as the non-playing fun parent, because that's my husband's job, I have loved learning about the purpose of it because it makes me want to play more because I know how good it is. So lots and lots of wisdom from Brittany in this podcast.
Yeah, I love when she said, play is the work of childhood. It's your one job. I love that so much. I also love when she said, never underestimate what God can do when you are present and intentional in a moment. So beautiful. She has such great wisdom.
And it's summertime. We do camp ministry, and at WinShape, we know how much play is just such a vital part of not only childhood, but your spirituality, because play creates space for faith to take root. And we get to see that at camp, and we get to learn about that in this podcast.
Yeah, so true, Amy. So I guess we should jump into it. Wherever you're joining us from today, the carpool line, the kitchen, or your couch, we hope you enjoy this and can take something away from this episode.
Welcome to Carpool Conversations, where our goal is to equip parents to have meaningful, Christ-centered conversations with their kids. I'm Amy Lowe.
And I am Sara Jones. And today we have a very special guest to talk about playing with purpose.
Okay, Sara, we've already talked about this. You and your family are the playing parent, the fun parent. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. In my family, my husband is the playing parent, is the fun parent. So really, you're the expert here, and then Brittany's the expert here we're talking to. But I'm the one that wants to improve in this area and get better. But what I love about our topic today is that there's purpose behind it. And I think for me, I will be more apt to play if I know that it's going to do good, and I know that there's a purpose, and I know the reason why I'm doing it. That will be motivation to me. You don't need motivation, and probably Brittany doesn't need motivation, and maybe those listening don't need it. But if anybody's listening that's like me and wants to play more, hopefully this will help us be more apt to do that, because we know the purpose behind it, and we've learned some really good things as to why we should prioritize this in our parenting. So we've got Brittany Compton with us.
Yes.
Tell us about her, Sara.
Yes, Brittany, welcome. I am going to share with our listeners who our guest is. Brittany Compton is a passionate advocate for raising up the next generation in faith. Yes, with over 15 years of experience leading kids ministries across multi-site, portable, large, and small church environments. She brings both depth and versatility to family ministry. Holding degrees in elementary and early childhood education, Brittany especially delights in serving preschoolers at her local church. What a precious age group. I love that age group. Currently, she feels honored to create curriculum and resources that empower leaders and parents around the globe. Her heart beats for equipping others to help kids know and follow Jesus. Brittany is married to her best friend, Jimmy, and together they're raising their son, whose sense of wonder makes every adventure even sweeter. Welcome, Brittany. We are so glad to have you.
Thanks. I'm so excited to be here with you girls.
Okay, preschoolers, I bet you've got some good stories.
Oh, the best. I think I learned this early on is there's this great rule where you say, okay, I'm not going to believe everything they tell me if you don't believe everything they tell you, because preschoolers like to tell it all. And,
they do.
And
no filter.
I think that's what I love best about them is they're just fully themselves, and they bring all their energy and fun and questions and stories when you get to spend time with them.
Yep. My son told his preschool teacher that his dad went to jail and he got pulled over for not merging lanes correctly. He didn't even get a ticket, but in his mind it was like, oh, we're getting pulled over. I was like, no, he definitely did not go to jail. He just got a warning. So yeah, it's wild.
Yep, the phone call from the school, just to clarify. Yeah.
Right. She thought it was hilarious, but she knew. She was like, this can't be factual. So Brittany, I'd love to know, first question, what did play look like for you as a child?
Ooh, this is one I really haven't thought about as much, but I think I'm the doll. I loved dolls, and I loved to set up all my little dolls and stuffies so that we could play school or play church, actually. And I loved to teach all of them, and they were really quite obedient little classmates there, because they did whatever I told them to do. But no, I loved creative play, imaginative play. And just, we had those great neighbors down the street that we could just run and go and play with all afternoon. And so playful. I loved to laugh too as a kid. And just whatever we could do that was maybe a little bit silly, imaginative. And I definitely, I see that in my own kid. He's a little more energetic or more active maybe than I was. He wants to climb more or destruct more, but it's really fun that I get to see his world of play open up too. But
it's amazing.
But yeah, I think I was the doll kid. I really loved all my dolls.
I love that.
Fun.
Were you an outdoor girly? I think so.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was an outdoor girly.
Same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was like mud pies, no shoes, in the creek.
Sticks, bikes. Yeah.
Forts.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it was like a rite of passage for childhood if your shoelaces did not wrap around the pedal of your bike. Did you ever happen to you?
Yeah.
I was like, when am I going to learn my lesson? You have to tie your shoes if you're going to ride bikes.
Yeah.
Because it stops you immediately and then you just fall over. So I just loved that.
My daughter was kind of like you, Brittany. She was creative. I remember we say all the time, like, we have a picture of her first craft she ever did. And we remember her going to her dad and saying, Dad, I need a piece of paper, a marker, tape, and a hammer. And we were like,
a hammer.
Okay, great. We don't know what you're doing, but you need something. And she taped all these things on a piece of paper. I don't really know what the hammer was for, but she had a reason for it.
Just in case.
Just in case. You never know. Okay, Brittany, this podcast is releasing in the summer, which is really great timing for parents to be taking advantage of this. So you are in the prime time to put this into action. So let's pull out our pencil and take notes. And I want to start with the big picture question of why. I think we know play is important, but you are an expert here. So why is play essential for a child's physical, emotional, and spiritual development and wellness?
What a great question. I think we often look at play as something that happens after learning or when you have free time at the end of the day. But I think what we often just need to remind ourselves is play is learning. Kids learn through play. And while they're playing, they're going to grow physically. Their brain is going to grow and develop. They're going to gain strength. Just using the monkey bars or climbing gives kids muscles that are essential for writing and doing other skills later in life. So it's really important physically. Emotionally, play creates that safe space where kids can imagine or explore or process the world around them. So this is a great opportunity, especially with littles that like to play imaginative play, and they might reenact or role play a situation that happened that day or maybe a week ago, and they're trying to make sense of it. And it so kind of gives you that insight into their world to see what they think happened, kind of like the story of your husband getting pulled over and to say, oh, you thought he went to jail. Nope. Daddy was okay. And this is why, we had to stop and have a conversation with the police officer. And so just to be able to explain that, that's just such a great opportunity. And again, when kids are playing, those walls they're breaking down those walls. So they have a chance to just be themselves and question things and explore. And then spiritually, it's allowing kids to open up their world of wonder and awe, to say, wow, this is the world that God made. Can you believe God made that bug with that many legs? Or look at how unique, God made you. And he made you to create and explore and play. And he made you really good at that. And so I feel like play just is the opportunity to break down those walls and to learn and to grow. And we know play is the work of childhood. So just to remember that it is so essential for their growth. So to this whole day that we get to talk about this, that we don't want to leave play for the very end of the day, that play is a key element of a kid's childhood.
That's so good. I can think about all those moments where play where you learn like calculating risk and failure, and I skinned my knee, like risk taking. That's why I love camp so much. It's like you just get to go and be a kid, you don't all camp, your whole 2 weeks of camp is play,
Yeah. And you learn problem solving and cooperation and how to and resilience. I mean, that happens when we're going to, the block tower fell over. We're going to pick it up. We're going to try again.
Yes. I can't think of one parent that I haven't spoken to who doesn't want their child to have resilience. It's like we have to give them opportunities to exercise the muscle of resilience. It's so good.
Yep.
I was reading a study about, you mentioned the monkey bars in the very beginning. I was reading a study about how kids need to jump off of things. And I was like, that's such a weird thing for a kid to need to do. But apparently it's like for their joints and their growing bones and muscles. Yes. Did you read the same study?
I read
Probably
it.
not the same one, but
you read it.
I
Okay.
read it because also monkey bars, though, are like the leading cause of broken arms. And
they are.
So as a parent, you're like, don't do the monkey bars. Never do the monkey bars. But then because we've like adapted, we've gone so far to that side, now kids are losing and missing out on certain other like key muscles and skills that they need. And yes, I've had to embrace a little bit of that more like risky play with my son and learn to say like, this is okay. This is a learning experience. I might be terrified for a minute, but God's got it. And we want him to explore and build those muscles that only happen when you are climbing and using those monkey bars.
My sweet husband very gently told me early on, because he went to the playground with us. We have a city, like a community playground across the street from our neighborhood, and we would go all the time. But I spent my entire time like, oh, wait, no, don't do that. Be careful. You're going to fall, get hurt. He went with us one day and he was like, I want you to know that she has to fall and she has to get hurt. And we're going to be there to go get her a cast if she breaks her arm. We're going to get her a Band-Aid. But you are causing her to have anxiety. This is like a toddler. He's like, I know internally you're afraid, but you have to let her get hurt. And I mean, not to a certain extent, but
Brittany, Sarah's husband is a counselor and he's really good at his job and has taught us a lot of things. So
he's taught me
all
a lot
learn
of
from
things.
Chase.
Yes.
Okay, well,
so just know that let them skin their knee. They'll be okay. Okay. Why is play such a powerful way for parents to connect with their kids?
Well, play builds trust. And like I was saying earlier, like it breaks down the walls and it's going to lead to connection. Play releases oxytocin, which is the bonding hormone between adults and kids. What's fun is parents need play as well. But I think what you were talking about with the, getting skinned knee, kids know that we love them when we kiss their boo-boo, or we cook them dinner and breakfast and lunch, or we get them dressed for the day. Like, we hug them, we kiss them, we tell them we love them. And when you play with a kid, you are communicating that you like them. You are showing that you value them and their world. And so, especially child-led play, where you're letting them say what they want to play and what they want to do. And you're saying, you're worth it. I'm going to get down on your level. I'm going to make eye contact. I'm going to put my phone away, and I'm going to just spend time doing what you love to do and get to know who you are and who God made you to be. And so that connection piece is so powerful. And I think we think naturally about all those things as a parent, to like, we need to, care for them and kiss, take them to get the stitches at the hospital. But really that moment to say, hey, I think you're cool. I think the way that God made you is unique and wonderful, and I want to hang out with you. Yeah. And our world is so busy, and we get so distracted, and there's so many things, great things that we can be doing, but the best is just to say, I want to be your parent, and I want to hang out with you. So to show them that we just like them, and that the way that they were made is wonderful.
Yes. It's like your way of saying, I delight in you. Like you said, I think you're a cool person. Man, it's going to stick with me. It's like entering into their world. Unstructured, they get to pick what the play is. And you're just delighting in your children. That's beautiful. Yep.
I never thought I would do so many lightsaber battles. Not my thing, but it delights my child. So before school, we probably have a quick lightsaber battle. And then I hope that he knows before he goes off to school that he has that self-confidence that, hey, like, my mom thinks what I like is cool. And just to have a little bit of that, like, self-assurance that I truly believe that the way God made him is amazing and wonderful.
I love that. As a mom of older kiddos right now, like, looking back on those moments of playing with them when they were little, and like flipping through old photo albums and like seeing the play that was had, it's sweet to like look back. And we still play now, which we'll talk about, maybe like older kids and how you do that. But I think you're never going to regret doing that and spending that time. You'll look back fondly on those moments with your kiddos, because then when they get older and they're off to the races and they don't want to play with you as much. So take advantage, parents listening. Okay, let's get practical, Brittany. For people that are busy, you just mentioned that we are very busy. Talk to us about simple ways that we can be more intentional about play.
I think we really want to tap into our everyday lives. So for your littles, if you're giving them a bath, like, bath time's a great time to sit and play on the edge of the tub with them, and even maybe tie in some fun faith conversations with them even as you're doing that. But I think using the time you have, we're all busy. We all have super tight schedules. So when you're in the car, could you play a game? Or if you're waiting in line, turn it into a game. Again, showing that you want to have fun with your kids. And the leading show right now, I think it has surpassed all other adult shows, is Bluey. And I don't know how your feelings on Bluey. I've had different conversations with people. And one of the things I think that is best about the show is that it shows parents playing with their kids. And then on the flip side, I've heard parents say, I'm too busy. I can't do that. I don't like that show. It makes me feel inadequate. It's too hard. And I stepped back and I realized one episode of Bluey is only 7 minutes long. So I think we all have 7 minutes we can carve out of our day. And 10 minutes of focused playtime with your kid, eye contact, putting your phone away and being fully present is way more impactful than a whole day together, but you're distracted. with all the other things that you need to do. So just to remember, like, we have 7 minutes that we can designate to our kid to delight in them, to laugh together, to play together, and then just to use those small moments that you have throughout the day. So even if it's when you're getting ready for dinner, or April Fool's Day was just a bit ago for us, and he has not stopped talking about that. He loved that we turned our dinner into a restaurant. And we made we made it a silly restaurant. So he loves that Dad was served a shoe for dinner because that's what he ordered, but he didn't know that's what he ordered. And so it was such a small, to me, it was not much prep. And it was such a big win for my kid to know that we all laughed together that night, and we were silly and playful over dinner, which we have to have dinner every night. So it was just turning some of those simple moments or those everyday moments into a meaningful time together as a family.
That's really good. I've seen my kids want to cook from a really young age. You know, you cook dinner every night. Just invite them in. My kids love it. And I think another study I read that talks about when we can play, when we involve our kids in play, where all 5 senses are being used, whatever you're trying to teach them is very memorable. And so for whatever reason, like even when me growing up, my grandmother would invite me into the kitchen, and it was so special. So I know that it's messier. It's messier when they're involved. I remember early on, my daughter was like, I want to crack that egg. And it's like, okay. And there was a couple of times, you know, I'm biting my tongue because there's eggshell in the bowl, but it's like, dump them out. We'll try again. But just inviting them in to cook. Or last night, I asked my son, I said, will you please set the table for dinner? And I look over and he has set the table and he has dealt everyone 7 Uno cards. No one asked him. He loves family game night, and so he tries to do it every single night. So just little.
That's beautiful.
I have found that to be in our home. I don't know if you have any examples, but
I think
go ahead.
It's been a busy season in our home, and so we have used dinner time as an opportunity to play. So you know, this doesn't work for everybody, but we decided to do spaghetti dinner without plates. And and so you may have seen this, but so we covered the table with foil, with the tablecloths, and then just put the spaghetti right there. And again, when he walked in from outside to see dinner, it was just joy and laughter. And for him to see that Mommy and Daddy were also going to have dinner the silly way, I think just finding the way to bond with laughter and joy. And, you know, play is a stress reducer for adults. So bring it on, right? We all have so much going on. Let's, you know, embrace it. Play is so good for adults too. We all need it. Yeah. And it just helps change, you know, your mindset and just revel in just what God has given you, your family life and the joy, because we don't have as much time with kids as maybe we want. And so to make use of all of those moments. You were talking about learning. It takes, I believe, 400 repetitions to create a neural connection for to learn something new. But when you're, so with typical instruction. So in typical instruction, you need about 400 repetitions for make that neural connection. But when you're playing, it only takes about, I think it's like 20 to 30 repetitions. And so you can learn so much faster. And then I love this fact. If you're laughing while you're playing, it takes even less, like maybe like 12 repetitions, because just what it does to your whole body and your whole being, you can learn so much faster when it's joyful, when it's fun, and when again, when kids get to explore with all their 5 senses. They're learning through play and they're having so much fun doing it. It's going to connect. So it just makes you think, I could sit and try and tell my kids something 400 times, or we could try it a different way because it'll be a time saver and just more fun.
So what you're saying is make a game out of making the bed, because my kids hate to make their bed. So if I just make it a game, or it's not that they hate it, they're just not
smart.
Yes, I need to teach them. how to make their beds properly.
We need to make sure Brittany knows the 3 rules of camp.
Oh, yeah. What are they? We have 3 rules at camp.
3 rules. Here they are. You ready?
Yeah.
What's number 1?
Have fun.
Okay, what's number 2?
Have fun.
What's number 3?
Have fun.
Those are our 3 rules.
Yeah. I'm ready for camp. I'm ready. Let's go.
Yeah.
Sign you up. We have family camp, so come on.
That's true.
I will be there.
Okay.
For sure.
Listen, I feel like you just spoke to this, but if you have any more examples, we would love to know them. So, why are small, ordinary moments often more impactful than those big ones?
Because children build their identity in repetition, not in highlights. And so the way that you make them feel before you send them out the door to school, or when you tuck them in at night, or your family dinner times, those are going to have a greater impact on who they are than that really great vacation you planned or that really great birthday party that you went all out for. I think I love a good birthday party. I love a theme and all the decor, but I have to keep as a parent, I have to keep myself in check because it can become a stressful moment in our house and our family. And to say, is it worth the stress that it's going to bring or the time that I'm going to spend not with my family in order to put on this production or this special event? And so I think just because their moments they're built over time. It's they're going to remember far more how you make them feel than what you say. And so to know that you made them feel loved and liked and that we enjoyed being a family and enjoyed time together every day is so much more impactful than just that one time a year that you get to do something. So just, again, to remember that their identity is shaped in repetition. And so we want to have fun and those conversations on repeat and not just put all of our effort into like once a year.
Yeah. For me, one of the things that we've started to do, I don't know if this will help anybody. Again, I have older kids, is they love board games. And we, for a long time, had the board games upstairs in like the playroom area, and we have brought them down to be like more accessible to us. And we've started to play after dinner. So, or my son and my husband will go out and shoot basketball after dinner, and we'll take the dog for a walk. It's like things that we've just started to do as a regular rhythm, and those habits start to build, and it just becomes a regular rhythm of life. And it's like, okay, what game are we playing tonight? And it's time to go shoot basketball, and it's time to take the dog for a walk. And it's like, these are all little things. None of them take a long amount of time, but when we pair them with dinner, now we're having fun all around dinner. And again, for older kids, maybe that's a pro tip for you too, because it's less about some of the other kind of play that we've talked about and more about how can we make play fun as an older kiddo.
I love that you brought up older kids. So I have a niece and a nephew that are 14 and 16, and it's been fun to grow with them. And again, to show that I'm interested in what they're interested in, even if it's not my interest, I'm interested because they are. And so learning to play a new video game with my nephew, which I'm not good at, but he loves teaching me or taking the time to explain the game that he loves. And games are huge. So I love to use games when I have a group of adult, like volunteers that don't know each other, or you get a whole room of people that don't know each other. A game breaks down boundaries and walls and connects people faster than anything I've seen, because now we can all connect. We may come from different walks of life, different interests, different jobs, but when you're sitting around a table playing a game, you have that common bond and you can laugh over that, and you've created a core memory that maybe you might bring up again later. And so I think play is not just with our littles. I think we think about that because we think of, cars and dolls and maybe some of those activities, but really games, throwing a baseball in the backyard, kicking a soccer ball, whatever, again, is the teenagers are interested in, it is so worth your time and effort to take that moment. And also, as they're getting older, they know how busy life is because they have schedules, right? They have sports and school and homework, and then they know you have work or, things to do around the house. And so when they see that you're making time for them especially modeling, putting, your electronics away to say, hey, you're most important for me right now. That's going to make such a big impact. Again, those small moments over time are going to help them see their value in Christ and their value in your family.
Yep. So true. Bracelet making also has been on our girls list. That's been
how fun.
Okay. I'm not very good at it, but all right, Brittany, tell us about, we've talked about play. We're going to start moving into the purpose part of it. So how do play and faith kind of go together to help shape a child?
I think I'll start with a story. So this is last week, we were on the trampoline playing a game of dodgeball, my son and I. And while we are jumping and throwing a ball at each other, he says, hey, he's asking me some really deep questions about heaven. And I thought, I was not expecting this. I want this, and I know this because I teach this, but at the same time, here it is. We were playing together. He's moving, which is when he is going to learn the most. And he's asking really big questions about heaven. And I thought, here it is. This is what we all want. We all want to have connection with our kids. We want to be able to have those great conversations and speak truth into their lives. And so for us, it was on the trampoline. And that's when he is fully himself and engaged and getting to move. And that's the faith conversation. And so I think part of it is just to incorporate those faith conversations into your everyday life. We want to talk about God and our faith like we do things that we love, often, naturally, with enthusiasm and joy. And so I love to say start this when they're young. It's much easier if you, as a preschool family, talk about God throughout your day, because it's just a family rhythm. It's what you do in your family. And so it's a little less awkward than when they're 13 and you sit down and say, hey, in our house, we're going to talk about God. We're going to talk about faith. That's, you can start anytime, but just make it natural. If we want our kids to have an authentic faith, we need to be authentic in our own walk with the Lord. So it's really important that we just model it and just incorporate it throughout regular occasions. Like when we're sitting at the dinner table, what questions are you asking? Kids will decide what's valuable and what's important to our family based on the questions you ask. So are you asking them, hey, did anybody love like Jesus today? Or how did you share the love of God today? Or maybe we always ask, what did you learn? Or those are the kind of questions that we might want to shape a little differently to show what we value as a family. And to say, hey, did you go out of your way to include someone today? Because that's what Jesus would do. And we want to live our life like Jesus. And so I think just those moments of, can we talk about God when you're in bath time? Yes, totally. Can you talk about God when you're driving down the road? Yes. That's Deuteronomy 6:7. We want to do it wherever we are, when we're on the road, when we're at home, when we're out, when we're, getting ready to go to bed, all those moments to just be able to have those types of conversations. And so then for my kid, when we're on the trampoline, it's normal. It's normal for us to talk about this. And this is the time that he's going to ask his big questions. And so I think just to be ready. So when a kid is telling you maybe about something difficult that's going on in their life, to say, hey, let's pray about that. And to make it normal, to make it part of your family rhythm, that we're going to just stop and pray together, because that's what's most important. And to point kids to God's word. I think we often use our phones for the Bible, and I'm guilty of it. But because I'm aware, I've put out a physical Bible so that we have that opportunity to say, hey, let's go look up, let's go see what God's word says about that, and give those opportunities again to model where to go for truth and who to turn to when you're having a difficult moment. I think just to make that as part of our everyday rhythm, and that there's a plethora of information and knowledge in the world, and what are we going to do when we have big questions, and where do we go? And just to make that, again, a way that we're going to keep turning back to our Creator, and to make this part of our rhythm. Maybe you want to pray before you send your kid off to school that day. Maybe it's a moment that we invite them to pray at dinner or at bedtime. And then also just that we love talking about our faith because it's exciting. And to be so authentic to say, hey, sometimes as a parents, we make mistakes too. And that's a great way to model what a forgiving Father we have, what the unconditional love that we can experience as a kid and as an adult. And just to show them that our faith is ever growing from age 2 to age 82, to let the grandparents speak into that. So I feel like we just want to make it part of our daily rhythm, so that because we want Christ in everything.
Yeah, that's good. And you've earned a place to be a trusted source, to ask big questions like heaven, or why God doesn't have a mom, or those are some of the questions I'm getting. But you're a safe, trusted source for all questions about who God is. I love that. So what would you say to a parent who feels that they aren't doing enough spiritually?
Ooh. I say you're not alone. I think everybody questions their parenting every day.
For sure.
And every parent wants to be a better parent. But I would say kids don't need the perfect spiritual leader, but they do need a present one. And so it kind of goes back to play, to say, are you taking the time to put distractions away and show your kid that they matter and that you're there to have conversations with? And are you modeling it in just some of your everyday things that you do as a family? So I would say just start. Again, be genuine, because God made you to be your child's parent. And so you don't have to be perfect, but just take the time to be there. And making just the little bit of time is going to go a long way. Remember, 7 minutes, or maybe we're going to stay up late tonight just to play that game of Uno as a family, to show what matters, and that we're going to have conversations, because now their hands are busy and we're into a game, we're playing, and that's when a conversation about heaven might come up.
Yeah.
That's so encouraging, Brittany. And I think, again, if you are listening to this right now, you are probably crushing it. Like, you care enough about parenting well to be listening to a podcast about play and spirituality, and you're doing great. And I think also just continue to pray about it and give it to the Lord. I think we put so much pressure on ourselves as moms and dads to do everything right and perfect, and like that's just not realistic. And giving it back to the Lord to say, Lord, help me to do this. And again, just the overflow of your own personal walk with the Lord, like all of those things are gonna be so helpful to the kid, and you can like take the weight off of the pressure that you maybe are putting on yourself. So Brittany, our last question for you is, again, just another practical one. If a parent could take just one step today, what would you recommend they do?
I would say never underestimate what God can do when you show up and you're present for your kid. And I think to remember that they're only a kid for a little while. Childhood is not as long as adulthood. So embrace it and really lean into their childhood years, to enjoy it, to play, to have fun together, because they're going to be an adult and do all those grown-up responsible things for a lot longer. And so to remember that being a kid and playing is how they learn and discover the world that they're going to live in the rest of their life. And so I would say just start, be present, and have fun together, because it's good for both kids and adults. But that connection, that bond you're going to build is worth every minute that you invest in it.
That's such good wisdom.
I wrote it down.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah. So good.
My daughter has already asked, like, when can I get a cell phone? And I'm like, no, not until you're like, college. When you go to college, you can get, jokingly, I don't know when that we haven't decided, but it'll be way older. And I'm like, you got one shot to be a kid, just one. Like, you've got 1 year to be 9. Like, just be a kid, go build a fort. So I love that you mentioned it's a good reminder to remember it's only for a short season. And they grow up. They do leave the nest. They do launch. And so just soak them up while you can.
And I think when you were asking earlier at the very beginning, you're saying, what did you do? Like, what was your childhood like? Or what did you like to play with? And to think that people are going to ask your kids that question one day and say, did they have a childhood full of joy and laughter and love? And to know, again, we have 18 years. And so we want to invest that and enjoy it. For sure.
Yeah. That's good. Brittany, thank you so much for being with us and your wisdom and your just own play in your own home that you could share tips with us. It's been a joy.
It was so fun talking to you both.
So we end our podcast with a question that our listeners can take back. So parents listening, this is your question that you can take back to the dinner table tonight while you're tucking your kids into bed or when they are in carpool line. So the question is, how can we play together more as a family? I cannot wait to hear what they say. I already know what my kids are going to say. Do you know what yours are going to say?
I want to know what yours are going to say.
We gift a game for Christmas. They get one game. And it's called Left, Right, Center, and they love it.
Fun.
Have y'all played that game?
No.
We love that game.
Fun. It's so fun. It gets wild.
We play that with my extended family. So we've got, ages, 4 through 80 playing that game together. It's great.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's so fun.
Down to
Left, right, center. Yeah. And it's good for them to be like, okay, what's my left and what's my right? But we're also a very competitive family. So just vow that friendship and love and good sportsmanship over winning. So thanks for listening, guys. We're so glad you were here. Thanks. Bye, Brittany.
Bye. Thanks.